Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all well today. In an age of Nigerian princes and online scams, it's quite remarkable when you're faced with a good old-fashioned heist. And that seems to be exactly what's happened. Now, obviously, I don't condone this whatsoever. This is a terrible thing, and it seems like the French have lost some jewels that are a great part of their heritage. But there really is a fascinating story here. The fact that a bunch of organized burglars were able to walk into the Louvre after opening hours, right? They didn't come in the night, in opening hours early in the morning, and were able to steal some of the crown jewels of the Napoleonic era in plain sight is an unbelievable sequence of events that obviously raises many questions. And so I thought we might just go through it a little bit today. So you can see here that as of the time when the actual theft happened, I believe it was on Sunday, so the 19th, and we're obviously 2 days down the line, and these jewels haven't yet been retrieved. Now, a lot of the talk was basically saying that if they're not found in 48 hours, it's very unlikely that they will be found. And so they stole no fewer than 9 pieces of jewelry, one of which was, of course, the crown of the Empress Eugenie, who was the wife of Napoleon III. And that was actually found discarded, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But for the time being, so the French police are desperate to retrieve priceless jewels stolen from the Louvre in a brazen daylight robbery. But as it says, experts have warned that it's probably not going to happen at this point. There's a particular chap here, this Mr. Brand, that the BBC have gone to as a source, and he's just talked about the sheer professionalism of these men, who says, you know, as a normal person, you don't wake up in the morning thinking, I will become a burglar, let's start with the Louvre. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but very well said. This won't have been their first heist. They've done things before, other burglaries, they're confident, and they thought we might just get away with this, and they went for it. And another sign of the professionalism of the gang is being taken seriously. A specialist police unit with a high success rate in cracking high-profile robberies has been tasked with tracking them down. Obviously, such a thing has drawn the French culture minister in as well, who must be sweating quite a bit at this point. But it's truly remarkable. Mr. Brand suggests that DNA evidence would be a likely way the thieves could be caught. And so I suppose analysts will be inspecting that crown right about now. But as you can see here, we do actually have a little bit of footage from inside the Louvre, which I'll just play here in the background. Yeah, muted. Really remarkable. Of course, we end up with the same thing here that as Matthew Valette is saying, that the images of the Louvre robbery are distressing. No alarm, no perimeter security, no agent in sight. The thief in a yellow vest acts calmly for 7 minutes amid the visitors. Everyone is filming, but did one of them call the police? Well, I mean, you know, if people are just filming as someone gets beat up, I don't think they're going to intercede, are they, in this day and age when priceless jewels are being stolen either, right? Which don't feel the pain. So yeah, truly astonishing. But what's more as well, there is obviously the metaphorical angle to this entire thing. And there's a very good article here from the European Conservative that I thought I might just read from a little bit at length, where they go and say that I won't repeat the information that I've already told you, but the videos have obviously been circling, and a lorry was positioned on the bank of the Seine at the foot of the famous Galerie d'Apollon, which houses the crown jewels, i.e. the remains of the sumptuous jewellery belonging to the various dynasties that ruled France, and which survived, only a few of them, the many episodes of revolution. It quietly set up, placing construction safety cones on the pavement to secure the perimeter, A basket mounted on a hoist allowed 2 of the 4 criminals to climb up to a window in the gallery, which they broke into a fairly basic manner using an angle grinder. Once inside, it took them just 7 minutes, a time that seemed both very short and disproportionately long, to open a display case and steal 9 pieces of precious jewelry. There is also the point, just to add as well to all of this, that the professionalism of the burglars might have been stopped if it was matched by the professionalism of the security team at the Louvre. However, as is pointed out here, we learn that the appointment of the Louvre's security chief in 2021, Dominique Buffin, was made recently on the basis of criteria other than competence, but rather to satisfy the requirement for the feminization of senior staff in cultural institutions. And so, as many such cases apply, we have total failure being the result of a DEI hire. Who could have foreseen it? And so we're in a position here where we're in France, where a culture of institutionalized irresponsibility has reigned for decades, and Buffin will not resign, nor will Dati, who is the culture minister, because of course they never actually feel responsible for their failures, because their mere presence, the narcissism of their existence, right, where they exist representing some form of progress in spite of its manifest failures, means more than the failures themselves. And everything about this affair as it goes on rings terribly false. We will find the works and the perpetrators will be brought to justice, President Macron solemnly promised, but can we believe him? Can we trust a moribund justice system that no longer knows how to exercise its legitimate authority? It goes on to make a point here as well that a few days ago, the pretender, great language when you can bring back these archaic terms, the pretender to the French throne, Louis XX, descendant of Louis XIV and head of the elder branch of the Bourbons, spoke out several times in the French press to share his alarm at the collapse of the country, forged by his peers. When the burglary was announced, it was the turn of Jean, Count of Paris, descendant of King Louis Philippe and head of one of the younger branches, the Bourbon-Orléans, to issue a statement deploring the loss of these jewels, some of which belong to his direct female ancestors. It's easy to see this theft as a metaphor for the state of decay in the country, which is incapable of safeguarding and passing on its treasures due to the negligence and mediocrity of its leaders. And this is, of course, not entirely just true in the case of these crown jewels that have now been lost, but of course the wider country of France. Because, of course, it wasn't under the French monarchy that France sold itself away to foreign peoples and saw itself demographically replaced in its capital city and handed away its own inheritance to foreigners who didn't care for it and didn't want it. This happened under allegedly consensual, meritocratic, progressive democracy, right? It was the Democrats who handed all of these things away. And we can't be surprised when people who have continuity and tradition in their very blood feel betrayed by what was taken away from them. And obviously, I'm not condoning the many faults that family did that led to the French Revolution. But obviously, they care about it far more than the people in power do right about now. And so we're faced with the question, aren't we, once more, when the crown of the Empress Eugenie fell or was discarded during the robbery and is the only one of the 9 stolen goods that is being retrieved, that once again the crown of France was found lying in the gutter, and perhaps people who care about France and not pathetic, performative, progressive fads, and both foreign and social, people of real caliber who care about real tradition and the French people are going to have to step forward and take that crown from the gutter because, by God, they're the only people who seem willing to protect it.